Don't start with thank you. Coming to the topic of data management, basically it was conceived as a talk જે આપણે ખાસ કરીને technocrats or architects માટે મેં આ talk initially conceived કરી હતી. And then it was changed a little to include other technocrats and finally to include some other walks of life as well. So some things may be specific to technical people or to architects or to creative fields. Basically, આપણે બધા આપણા જીવનના રોજબરોજના પેલામાં ડેટાને એક સ્ટ્રક્ચર કરવાની ટ્રાય કરતા જ હોઈએ છીએ અને the whole idea of structuring this is to have it made available when you want it. So it helps us to define a strategy, a goal, a mechanism by which we will do it. But each has a different way of thinking, and there cannot be a unified system of data management per se always. But the idea is to initiate a discussion on the topic such that as we go ahead, all of us are conscious about it. All of us define our own strategies and our own ways of doing it. So that is why I said that the session is conceived as a discussion and not a solution towards that end. Now, I'm very impressed by this talk and this quote of Peter Drucker, which says that the only thing that evolve by themselves in an organization are disorder, friction, and malperformance. So if you leave things onto their own, they are almost bound to become more and more chaotic as they go forward. And in this digital area, of course, there's no dearth of data. Data is available everywhere. But what we need is information. And how to convert that data to information is the biggest challenge. Again, I like this statement by Gertrude Stein. She says that everybody gets so much information all day long that they lose their common sense. Now it's interesting to note that she said this in 1946, and today in 2020 we've seen that આજે એક data influx આવ્યું છે જ્યારે okay, so we don't have a 40 minutes limit on this talk today. Wonderful. So she said it in 1946 when we thought data was not so easily accessible, available. But she says that everybody gets so much information. Back in 1946, by the way, Gertrude Stein was an American novelist, and a lot of her thoughts impressed me very much. You may just want to check her out at your convenience. Another quote by Benjamin Disraeli is that as a general rule, the most successful man in the life is the man who has the best information. This we will, I am sure, all agree to. But now at this point of time, I want to divest from the whole idea of data management. I want to, I was just at the start before we started this formal talk, I said, okay, many of the architects and technocrats are not very good data managers. So towards that end, actually, maybe our education systems and our way of thinking, and the fact that actually creative fields, people are slightly more unorganized or disorganized to an extent. And there are so many studies that say that, it's taking a little time to come to your screen. You can see it now. So there's this web writer spotlight article which says a perfect mess, why disorganized people are more creative and productive. And then there is this life hacker article which says why people with disorganized mind are more intelligent. So it's a fact that creative people, technocrats, and in fact, creativity is not limited to certain domains. Every walk of life, creativity is required, and people are creative. And so you need linear thinking, you need out of the box thinking. And for that, you need a little clutter, you need to be a little disorganized, you need to break the structure, system, pattern, get out of it, and think in a tangential direction. But that is no reason to have your data disorganized. Your data and your thoughts are two different things. And the reason I'm very adamant on having a structured data system is that because we all are dependent on a kind of a matrix of people whom we work with to get things done. We don't actually, we don't live in a solitary this thing. We are part of an ecosystem, and the product that we are able to offer is actually always a part of that, a result of that ecosystem. So if we are not able to keep the data organized, it almost becomes impossible for the organization to actually function systematically. આજે આ ટોક હું તમને ઇંગ્લિશ ગુજરાતીમાં ડેલિવર કરી રહ્યો છું, પણ માની લ્યો કે મને સિંહાલીઝ આવડતી હોય અને હું સિંહાલીઝમાં એ વાત કરું, તો કદાચ એ વાત હજી મારા માટે સેન્સફુલ હશે, પણ it will not make any sense to many of you who don't know Sinhalese. Likewise, most of the things need to be put into a language. But when we listen to music, we don't need language. I can enjoy Arabic music. I can enjoy music from around the world. But it has its own natural language. We enjoy that music. Similarly, we need to put our data in a manner such that we will be able to, it should be readable. It should be readable by our team members. It should be readable in posterity. 10 વર્ષ પછી પણ જ્યારે તમે એ ડેટાને રિફર કરો ત્યારે intuitively you should be able to make out where what will be and how you can reuse it. So what are the various types of data that we handle on a regular basis? So as an architect, drawings comes first, pictures, calculations, scans, letters, mails, emails, documents, tenders, comparative statements, data sent and data received and data generated, and screenshots. And I mean, so there's no end. There was a time when everything was just physical, and probably it was very different then. As of today, it's physical, it's digital, it's in a very complex manner. And often you will find that a lot of people are finding it very difficult to be able to locate the right data at the right time. So that is a challenge that we want to tackle. And Albert Einstein has very rightly said that we can't solve problems by using the same kind of thinking we used when we created them. So we'll have to have a fresh thinking and a fresh approach to data management for us to be able to have a system which works. So what are the issues for data management? I made this checklist at the start of my career, and I said that what is the kind of data management system that I want to have? So I said it should have an easy filing system, and then easy retrieval. Easy retrieval, not merely by me, by anybody and at any time. It should be past sensitive. What is meant by past sensitive? કે આની પહેલાનો જે મારી પાસે જે કંઈ ડેટા છે તે ડેટા આ સિસ્ટમ સાથે કેવી રીતે ઇઝીલી ઇન્ટિગ્રેટ થઈ શકે, અથવા એ ડેટાને એવેન્ચ્યુઅલી હું આ સિસ્ટમમાં લાવી શકીશ, કેવડો ડેટા છે લાવી શકીશ તો કેવી રીતે લાવી શકીશ, લાવવો છે કે નહીં, how will it integrate with the new system that I'm designing, and it should be future ready. Now this is a very complex thing. Today we are working with certain type of tools and certain type of systems. We don't know what is to come in future, in terms of the programs, in terms of the type of data, in terms of the way the data will be distributed, shared, used, kept, backed up. So you don't know that, and you still need to make your system to be future ready, because otherwise it will become redundant in a very short period of time. And then plug and play. This was a very important thing for me. I was very impressed by this word of plug and play, probably brought in by Microsoft when they initially, I don't know how many people you would remember, Windows જ્યારે પહેલા આવ્યું ત્યારે તમારે કે ઇવન પહેલા એની પહેલા DOS-માં પણ તમારે કોઈ પણ ડેટા હોય તો કોઈ પણ ડિવાઇસ હોય તો પહેલા ડિવાઇસ લાવવાની અને પછી એનું ડ્રાઈવર પહેલા ઇન્સ્ટોલ કરવાનું. Once the driver is installed, then you can use the device. And for installing that driver, you will need to have the required CD, floppy, something. The drivers have to be with you, and it will keep on changing from product to product. So one of the biggest challenges used to be that you had to have the right driver. Now then they came with this idea of plug and play, where you insert the device and in a couple of seconds it's ready to use. That's the idea of plug and play. Now I thought that was very nice, and I wanted to have a system which was plug and play. By that I meant that tomorrow if I want to work with some other architect, or with some other valuer, or with some other technical consultant, or with some other institution, or with some other body, or with some other person, they will not be using the system that I use. So how will my system integrate with theirs such that we can work seamlessly? So that was very important for me, and I think that is one part, because as I told you earlier, we're part of a very large ecosystem, and we don't want to burn our bridges, we want to build bridges. So how do we design systems such that it will be easily usable by the other person, and their data can come into our system in a seamless way? So that is what I meant by plug and play. And then very importantly, data security and privacy. So how do we make sure that our system is such that we can take care of data security and privacy? Now, both of these are similar and still different. By data security, you want that your data is secure in terms of not being accessible to people you don't want it to be accessed, as well as if there is any kind of exigency, if any kind of loss of data, then you still have backup systems which will take care of the whole data that you have, the database that you have built up with so much effort. So these were the issues, my issues with which I started my thought of developing my own data management system, which will work for me. So basically data management is all about system setups and more system setups. So it'll need continuous monitoring, upgradations, adaptations, mutations, permutations, and combinations. So much so that there is a continuous evolution. But there is still a continuity such that your data of the past is still very seamlessly continued into the future. આપણે જોઈએ કે જ્યારે કોઈ પણ સોફ્ટવેરમાં પણ જ્યારે અપગ્રેડ આવે છે ત્યારે the software takes care of the older versions also, and most of the software will install silently without disrupting the your working in any way. So your data management also has to be in a system also has to be like that. I like this. Now, this is like it's imaginary. कि कोई planet ऊपर astronaut has landed and he's putting the American flag there and he's saying now they're going to have to add planet field to the address data record. So if we have a colony on Mars tomorrow, let's say, then merely saying that so-and-so country will not suffice, then you will also need to define which country and on which planet. But that field was never part of the database of address database. So how to build that field in future? આપણા લોકોમાંથી જે 2000 year, most of us will remember that when the year Y2K was to come, there was a huge panic in terms of the date change, because the earlier dating system only had 2 digits for the year, YY, and then it was required to have 4 digits. So each system had to be modified to incorporate that change of field from 2 digits to 4 digits. And it was at that point of time the biggest assignment that any IT company could have. All the companies were busy simply doing this one thing of adding that to modifying that field. So change is continuous, and you'll have to design your systems in a way such that you can change it easily. Now, if we have to consider some basic issues, so organizing data will, I mean, you would have your reports, letters, documents, calculations, and whatnot. So each individual document, I mean, each part we will just go to, we will talk about briefly, and then we will talk about the larger strategy. So we will talk a little about how you set up your dates, how you set up your libraries, how you set up your reference material, your other communication like offers or agreements. So as far as the calculations are concerned, one part that largely every technical person or even other people at large, we all need to use some calculation sheets. So they're best managed using some spreadsheet program. We all know that. But it is very important that each workbook and each spreadsheet nomenclature is very identifiable. So often you will find that there's a folder and there's a program, there's a file called estimate. And then you'll somehow modify that estimate. And then the new file will be estimate new. And then you will still be required to change it again. So you will say estimate final. But then that is not final. There's another file, there's some change, further change. So you'll say estimate final new. And then you go on like that. But it becomes very difficult to actually be able to make out which is the one to be referred and which came after what. So usually putting revision numbers and giving a nomenclature, a naming system to the filing system such that you can identify them easily. Even the tabs, each tab, each spreadsheet should be a identifiable spreadsheet. Again, in Excel or any spreadsheet program, you can keep hyperlinking and linking the data such that it is accessible across the platform. Also, it may be a good idea to make an input data sheet by creating a separate data spreadsheet of all inputs, such that changing the input can directly modify the outputs. So this is in reference to what, where all is your input required. The rest is only calculations. Your input is only certain fields. So if you make an input sheet which is separate and put all your input data into that sheet, modifying and call the data from that sheet, modifying just the input sheet can very easily change the output without you having to mess up the whole structure of the spreadsheet. I did not discuss anything about drawings because I did not expect largely architects to be part of this thing. But we can take up that on a separate day in a separate forum. Okay. As far as your documents are concerned, you can use document editor of your choice, of course, but don't forget to reference the document, put the date. So these reference information should go into each document invariably without fail. It should be a part of the printout also. Not just naming the document sufficiently is not enough. Put the date onto your document, put the reference number onto your document, so that even if the printout of that particular document is available, you can easily make out as to what date or when was it made or in what context. And again, have an identifiable system of document numbering, which should either be project-based, project number-based, or chronological, or something identifiable by your setup. We will just go a little hands-on to that once again in a while from now. We talked a little about calculations, and I think spreadsheet program, it's the same thing, there's not much. Again, some kind of having, if you're doing some job on a repetitive basis, try and make templates for that, because it's no point reinventing the wheel. What you have done in the past should always not have to be done again. Just use your time to do something afresh, to do things that are really productive. Pictures are important in terms of two things, not merely as photographs, but also as scans. We all have to use a lot of scans into our office, into our setup, into our organization on a daily basis. And I've seen that a lot of files, a lot of scans will come in a manner which, such that if you have an overcompulsive disorder like me, તમને અરેરાટી થઈ જાય કે આ કેવું સ્કેન છે એમ. Or sometimes the file size is so large, તમને એમ લાગે કે બે પાનાનું ડોક્યુમેન્ટ સ્કેન કરીને મૂક્યું છે ને it's 4.5 MB, એવું તો બધું શું છે એમાં. So you need to actually be able to understand these file formats, raster file formats. What is a JPG format? What is a PNG format? What is a GIF format, TIFF format, PCX, PMP, and so on and so forth. There are so many. But where do you use what? What is the kind of DPI that you want? If it's a photograph, you use JPGs. If you want to print it simply, a 200 DPI is just about enough. Only if you want to enlarge it beyond a certain point do you need anything beyond 200 DPI. Otherwise, don't scan anything in more than 200 DPI. And if you want to basically retain it as a document, then scan it only in black and white. Scan it only in PNG format. When you scan a black and white and do a JPG, you make a mess of it. You make a mess of the scan, you make a mess of the file size, both. Don't do that. Use PNG format. PNG format is the best when your number of colors are limited. If you multicolor photo ne jyare tame PNG ma scan karso, you'll make a mess of that. The file size will bloat like nobody's business. So don't do that. Again, PNG has the advantage over GIF. GIF पर limited numbers ma bo saru kaam kare, but it only works with 72 DPI. So the new format to use instead of GIF is to use PNG, because PNG will retain the DPI that you have scanned it in or you have saved it in. So if you want to work with a 200 DPI or 150 DPI, then it's better to do it in PNG. And PNG basically means portable network graphics. So it's a very good format to use for a limited palette. 2 colors, that is black and white or monochrome, or 8 colors, web colors. Till that format, PNG works the best. If you want to have anything beyond that, then go for JPG. Certain documents, certain faxes will always come by in TIFF format. Now, TIFF format is basically again but you can just convert those to PNG and save them to keep your filing system in a synchronous way. So it is very important to understand what are these formats and how actually, yeah, Mayur, you had a question. Let me just look at the question. I lost it, sorry. I'll just try to see the question. Can we convert these formats to, Mayur, can you તમે તમારું અનપ્લગ તમારું માઇક અનમ્યુટ કરીને મને ક્વેશ્ચન કોને પ્લીઝ
એક મિનિટ અમન તો દેવાનો મેસેજ આવ્યો કે તમારે એક પ્રોસેસ જેવું નથી ને એટલે ખબર પડતી તો ઓલામાં જોતો હા એ લોકોને
મયુર શાહ. Okay, I'm not being able to understand the question. It says, can we convert these formats to edit? Usually, તમારા suppose JPG format હોય તો તમે એને PNG માં કન્વર્ટ કરી શકો, પણ જો તમે JPG માં કોઈ ડોક્યુમેન્ટ કોઈ સ્કેન સેવ કર્યો હોય, તમે એને PNG માં કન્વર્ટ કરશો તો તમને કોઈ બેનિફિટ નહીં મળે. જ્યારે તમે એને સ્કેન કરો છો ત્યારે તમે રાઈટ ફોર્મેટમાં જોઈને સ્કેન કરશો. PNG માં સપોઝ છે, હા PNG નું તમારું છે એને તમે JPG માં મલ્ટી કલર ફોટો છે PNG, એને તમે JPG માં કન્વર્ટ કરશો તો તમને ફાઇલ કમ્પ્રેશનના બેનિફિટ્સ મળશે અને ઇટ વિલ આસ્ક યુ કે તમને કેટલી કમ્પ્રેશન કેટલું જોઈએ છે અને ક્વોલિટી ટુ કમ્પ્રેશનનું તમારે જે પેલું બાર્ટર છે એ કેટલું જોઈએ છે કોમ્પ્રોમાઇઝ. સો એ તમે કરી શકશો, પણ JPG ટુ PNG તમે કન્વર્ટ કરવા જશો તો તમને ફાઇલ સાઇઝનો જે બેનિફિટ મળવો જોઈએ નહીં મળે, કારણ કે એ ગ્રેડિયન્ટમાં સેવ કરે છે એટલે તમને એમાં નહીં મળે. There was another question. Okay, slightly loud voice is required. Am I audible? Am I audible now? Can somebody
Yes.
tell me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. I'll try to keep the microphone a little closer. And also there is a question that can you show your video as well as PPT slides together? My video is right here. So you need to, I don't know. Yeah, okay. How do we do that? Forum, can we do that? મારો video તો on છે, પણ on the
Your video is on. We can see મતલબ જે જોતા હશે ને તો ઉપર એક પેનલ છે જેમાં બધા પાર્ટિસિપન્ટ્સ છે, so you can just scroll that. એમાં નિલેશ
બે at a time નહીં દેખાય ને? બે
ના,
at a time video અને
no I don't think so.
Yeah.
જેને જોવો હોય you can just scroll the upper panel જેમાં જ્યાં સુધી નિલેશભાઈ આવે ને ત્યાં સુધી, so you can just miniature form.
Hi Mayur. Yeah Mayur, so I think I hope I answered your query that you can change the formats, but sometimes it may be advantageous, sometimes it may not be very advantageous, right? So basically in short, the data management system should be absolutely identifiable, communicable. You should be able to instruct somebody to put it in that kind of data structure, so that people who are working for you, people who are working with you, they can also understand it easily and they can use it seamlessly. It should be structured, obviously, needless to say, કે તો જ આ બધું થશે, અને flexible, because again મેં તમને વાત કરી કે ફ્યુચરમાં તમારે ઘણું બધું આમાં ચેન્જીસ કરવા જ પડશે. તો જો flexible નહીં હોય તો I think it will not work. So basically what I'm telling you is what you already know. And then the consultant told them what I've been saying for years. So we all know that, but just saying it again and again, saying it over and over will help us to basically set up a system for ourselves. And of course, backups, I don't have to stress the need. any amount of stressing would not be sufficient to state the importance of backups. So always formulate a backup strategy which is absolutely foolproof, because catastrophes will not announce in advance when they are coming. Exigencies will not tell you in advance. I personally have been very unlucky several times in the past where my server has crashed or many other things, but fortunately we have been able to put ourselves back on the track in a couple of minutes or hours sometimes, because a proper backup strategy has been in place. So make sure that you don't have to learn the importance of it the hard way. Start as a backup strategy first thing. So basically, this is a extract of my musings. I will just go to a little to hands-on of certain things that I use, like a certain data structure that I use, and a certain Excel file that we were talking about, and dates that we talked about. So as far as dates go, a lot of data that we have is basically needs to be arranged in a chronological manner. And if we can arrange it in a chronological manner, it becomes very easy to identify what came first. So in that case, it is important to make sure that you nomenclature the document starting with the date and then put any name to the document that you want. But starting with the date also, it is very important that you use ISO format of dating. What is the ISO format? It says YYYY DD So your first 4 digits will always be the year. Second 2 digits should always be the month. Then 2 digits, and last 2 digits should be the date. And then put the name, whatever nomenclature you want to give to that sheet. Again, એમાં પણ જો તમને એક જ દિવસમાં પણ જો તમને number of folders generate થાય છે કે documents generate થાય છે, you can always go on sequential numbering of that as well. So if this is just a structure of, say, our projects that we are currently handling, right? So you can see that there are projects which are of 2010, 2011, 2016. Of course, the projects that we started in 12, 13, 14, 15 are completed, but there are some projects of 2010 that are still going on. So this is my current folder. There is another similar folder which is of backups only, which is also backed up on a regular basis. But so likewise, you actually need to then, and then within that, suppose if the data that is to be arranged in a chronological manner, we put it in a manner like this. So why this system of, so you can see, I hope it's legible to you. The first 4 digits are 2012, it's the year. This is 04, this is the month, and 30 is the date. This is the only way that you will always be able to have your entire thing in a chronological manner. છેલ્લું document અથવા પહેલું document તમારું હંમેશા છેલ્લું તમારે રાખવું છે કે whatever. તો આ chronological manner માં arrange કરવા માટે, this is the only way that you can actually have it in the chronological. તમે તમારું નામ પહેલા લેશો પછી ડેટ લખશો તો નહીં ચાલે. તમે તમારી ડેટ ને તમારે રૂટીન DDMM YYYY ફોર્મેટ માં લેશો તો પહેલા ડેટ ઉપર એ sort out થઈ જશે, પછી month અને પછી year. So that will not work કારણ કે 1st January 2020 નું ડોક્યુમેન્ટ ઉપર લિસ્ટ થશે અને 30 December 2010 નું ડોક્યુમેન્ટ નીચે આવશે. So for it to arrange in a chronological manner, you have to put it with the nomenclature of YYYY DD. That's very important as far as, so all data in our office, all data that has to be put, so whatever data that we have received or whatever data that we have sent always goes in a chronological manner. And there you can see that, so what was sent first and what was sent later is always in a chronological manner, while our own working files would be in a different this thing again. And each project number gets its own project number based on the year and the month, and we continue to do that. Away, here also you'll see that these are some of the reports that we've done, say in 2020 March. Each document is in a sequential order so that you can easily find it. And then again, it has the name as well. So if I'm doing a search over the name or the login number, it is always organized in a very systematic manner. Then again, going to the Excel files, we can use this is just a database of those cases that we're talking about. You can see that this file has about 400 tabs, but they are all hyperlinked. So you can just click to any of them, and then again, each of them is available by using hyperlinking. So you can establish links, and that will help you to be able to access any data at the tip of your hand without having to search for it actually. There was a question, which backup, I'm sorry, let me just come to the question. Backup should be stored in which device? Pen drives are getting spoiled, suggest best. Yeah, I think we will just come to that, Paresh bhai, surely. So here you can see that whatever documents that are arranged, they are arranged in a chronological manner. Now, Paresh bhai, as far as backups are concerned, the only two effective way of doing backups of large amount of data, one is NAS. Tamare NAS device implement karvi pade. That is the best way. Again, it depends કે તમારો usage શું છે, તમારે કેટલો data છે. જો તમારો data ની size બહુ મોટી નથી, so you can easily put it on cloud. And that is actually કોઈ પણ exigency, કોઈ પણ emergency, કોઈ પણ જગ્યાએ, કોઈ પણ locationમાં તમારે તમારો data access કરવો હોય, then cloud will remain to be the thing for tomorrow. But again, there is limits in terms of તમારે regular એ data use કરવો છે કે તમારે રોજનું. Now your backups also can be incremental backups, progressive backups, full backups. So you need to set up a strategy. તમે full backup every day કરવા જશો તો it will take too much of amount of time. અને જો cloud ઉપર કરવા જશો તો it will take too much of bandwidth also. So incremental backup is the better thing to do if you're doing it on cloud. So that તમારી ગઈકાલની ને આજની ફાઇલ વચ્ચે જેટલો તફાવત થયો છે એટલું જ બેકઅપ થશે, પણ તમે ગમે ત્યારે એ ઇન્ક્રીમેન્ટલ બેકઅપમાંથી જ્યારે તમારે રિટ્રીવ કરવું હોય ત્યારે એ જૂની ફાઇલ ને નવી ફાઇલનો આખી સિક્વન્સ ગોતીને તમને એ રિટ્રીવ કરી આપશે. એટલે તમારી બેકઅપ સ્ટ્રેટેજી છે ને એ તમારે પહેલા ઘણી બધી વસ્તુને કે તમારો ડેટા કેટલો ફ્રીક્વન્ટલી ચેન્જ થાય છે, તમારો ડેટા તમારે કેટલી જગ્યાએથી એક્સેસિબલ કરવો છે, તમારા ડેટાની સાઇઝ કેટલી છે, તમારા ડેટાનો સોર્સ કયો છે, અને તમારો ડેટા કેટલા લોકો સાથે તમારે શેર કરવો છે વગેરે ઘણી બધી બાબતો તમે એકવાર જ્યારે એને આઈડેન્ટિફાઈ કરો એના પછી તમારે તમારી બેકઅપ સ્ટ્રેટેજી સેટઅપ કરવી પડે. એક સિંગલ બેકઅપ સ્ટ્રેટેજી એટલે એક સિંગલ બેકઅપ ડિવાઇસ જનરલી આ જમાનામાં બહુ સેફ નથી ગણાતી. You have to have multiple way of backing it up. તમારો ડેટા અમુક ફોર્મમાં એટલે અમુક તમે ક્લાઉડમાં પણ હોય અને ઓફ સાઇટ અને ઓન સાઇટ. મને યાદ છે 2000 જ્યારે આપણને અર્થક્વેક થયો ત્યારે all my data was at office, so it was not possible કારણ કે 6th floor ઉપર ઓફિસમાં કોઈ જઈ ના શકાય. તો અને it was even possible કે કદાચ મારું બિલ્ડિંગ કોલેપ્સ થઈ જાત તો એ મને ડેટા મારો લોસ બી થાત. But I had a strategy always having a certain amount of offsite data. એટલે એની frequency every day અમે offsite નહોતા કરતા, પણ on a regular basis we were doing a offsite data also. So at that point of time અમે CD માં કરતા હતા કારણ કે ડેટાની સાઇઝ એટલી મોટી નહોતી. પછી તો એ CDs આપણા માટે યુઝલેસ થઈ ગઈ because they can only incorporate up to 8 GB. So DVDs. So now you have got hard drives, portable hard drives, which you can back up and put in a offsite manner. Plus you do cloud, plus within your office setup also જો તમે NAS ના પણ ઇમ્પ્લિમેન્ટ કર્યું હોય તો પણ તમે ક્રોસ સિસ્ટમ્સમાં એક સિસ્ટમમાંથી બીજી સિસ્ટમમાં બેકઅપ કરી શકો. અધરવાઇઝ તમે ઇવન એની સિસ્ટમમાં એક્સ્ટ્રા હાર્ડ ડ્રાઈવ ઇન્સ્ટોલ કરી અને બેકઅપ કરી શકો. અત્યારે તો બેકઅપના ફ્રી ટૂલ્સ એટલા બ્યુટિફુલ ટૂલ્સ અવેલેબલ છે કે જેમ કે સપોઝ કોમોડો બેકઅપ છે તો silently in the background, it is a free program. In the background it will keep working, it will keep looking for what is changed, and it will keep recursively backing up the data. Only thing is, of course, again તમારે એ પ્રમાણેની બેકઅપ સ્પેસ જોઈએ. બેકઅપમાં બીજી એક અગત્યની વાત કેવી છે કે તમારા સેટઅપની અંદર જ કોઈ વ્યક્તિ કોઈ ભૂલ કરે છે કે સપોઝ તમારો સ્ટાફ એક ફાઇલ ખોલી એની અંદરનો આખો ડેટા કંટ્રોલ A કરી અને ડિલીટ મારીને ફાઇલ સેવ કરી દે છે, તો શું થશે? જ્યારે એ ડેટા બેકઅપ થશે ત્યારે એ ફાઇલ જેટલી જગ્યાએ હતી એ બધી જગ્યાએ પણ એ ફાઇલ તમારી ઓવરરાઇટ થઈ જશે. સો તમારો બેકઅપ થયેલો ડેટા પણ જતો રહેશે. સો હાઉ ડુ યુ ટેક કેર ઓફ ધેટ? એના માટે તમારે ઇન્ક્રિમેન્ટલ બેકઅપની કરવું પડે કે ભાઈ એના વર્ઝનિંગ સેવ થાય. એટલે તમારે એ તમારી બેકઅપ સ્ટ્રેટેજી જ તમને કહી શકશે કે તમારે ખરેખર તમારો ડેટા કોણ ચેન્જ કરે છે, કેટલો ચેન્જ થાય છે, કેટલા લોકો યુઝ કરે છે, એ આખું બધું ત્યારે એકવાર જ્યારે તમે આઈડેન્ટિફાય કરો એ પછી જો તમે તમારી બેકઅપ સ્ટ્રેટેજી આઈડેન્ટિફાય કરો. આઈ એમ નોટ એન એક્સપર્ટ ઓન ધ ફિલ્ડ, આઈ એમ જસ્ટ ઓપનિંગ અપ ધ ટોપિક, બટ ધીસ ઇઝ અ વેરી વાસ્ટ ફિલ્ડ. અને again, whatever solution that you define today will probably need to be keep modifying always, કારણ કે તમે જે રીતે એને આજે યુઝ કરો છો અને જે રીતે તમારે કાલે યુઝ કરવાનું થશે એમાં ચેન્જીસ આવશે. સો જે મેં તમને કહ્યું કે તમારી ડેટા મેનેજમેન્ટ સ્ટ્રેટેજી તમારે રેગ્યુલરલી ઓન ધ ગો તમારે એને અપગ્રેડ કરવી પડશે, આઈડેન્ટિફાય કરવી પડશે અને મોડિફાય કરવી પડશે. સો these were some of the basic points that I wanted to discuss, and I think I have taken questions as they came. Okay, Pareshbhai, you're saying we should arrange seminar for benefit of more people. You're definitely Pareshbhai, આપણે RME ની અંદરમાં જ્યારે તમે કહો ત્યારે પાછું આપણે એકવાર અરેન્જ કરીશું. અને it is a topic of my interest, અને એવું નથી કે ખાલી મને મજા આવે છે, આમાંથી મને પણ ઘણું બધું ઇન્ટરેક્શનમાંથી મને શીખવા મળશે અને એ ઇન્ટેન્શનથી હું આ ટોપિક ડિસ્કસ કરતો હોઉં છું. સો આઈ એમ વેરી હેપી ઇફ સમ ઓફ યુ વિલ ગો અહેડ એન્ડ શેર યોર ઓન વેઝ ઓર ઓન challenges in terms of data management, such that it will help me think further અને કંઈક આપણે એમાંથી કંઈક સારા solutions કદાચ evolve કરી શકીએ. If anybody has any questions or anybody has any suggestions, I'm absolutely open to the questions. Ajit bhai, thank you. You're saying interesting and impressive. Nilesh bhai, we are thankful to you. Ajit bhai, it is always a pleasure, and it is from people like you that we keep learning from each other, and there's so much that I have to learn from you. Thank you. Yeah, Mayur bhai, you're saying for backup device, can we have expert manufacturer or supplier to explain their devices? Definitely, we can do a talk on backups. I think there are some very good established players who are offering data backup solutions on a professional basis, and it would help a lot to actually listen from them. But again, each one's backup strategy can only be evolved after the service provider or the solution provider actually understands your individual needs, the organization size, whether it has to be accessed offline, online, VPN થી તમે એને access કરવાના છો, a lot of other things like that. So solutions can be, I mean, evolved probably after an individual discussion, but explaining the products, they can their devices, their products, they can, I'm sure that can be done. And if there are enough requests for that, I think RMA can probably arrange a talk on that as well at some point of time. I open the forum for questions, if any. It's a pleasure, Mayur. I open the forum for questions, if any, or suggestions, if any, or your own inputs or your own observations on this. You may please unmute your mic. This is just a estimate that we made for somebody. Now here, a lot of inputs are coming in, which define the quantities. Now rates and all are fixed. Only the input is in terms of quantity in this particular sheet, because rate to che mara prevalent rates may already ama lidela che, and calculations are happening. So the only inputs is actually the quantity. So what we've done is, just try to move the bar. I'm not doing it. Yeah. Okay. So data is in this particular sheet only. So all that you see in red is the only input that is actually, I mean, defining what is happening within the sheet. So, I mean, all that I have defined in red here is actually what is going into the sheet that you were talking about. So all the references are called from data sheet only, you can see. So if I modify anything, like suppose if the area is modified, presently the estimate is for say 57 lakhs, and the data, if I was to modify the area to twice, then we could probably see the net effect, that what effect it would have directly into the other parts. So calculations, I'm not touching them. I'm just modifying one. So inputs are into one sheet only. So that is what I meant. And this is just a very unstructured sheet that I showed you, but I mean, I hope you get my point.
Yeah, thank you. I have unmuted everybody, so you can ask your question. Paresh bhai had
Nilesh
question. Bhagirath Singh Rathore had one question.
Yes, Bhagat bhai.
5 minutes to go, so. Nilesh bhai.
Okay, Bhagat bhai, I am reading your question.
Okay.
There was something like briefcase data. Do you know anything about that? Take automatically backup of your PC or laptop to another location as per
Mayur bhai.
previously mentioned time.
So Mayur bhai, you please mute. Mayur bhai.
તારા ઘરમાં તું અને શ્વેતા ને બીજું કોણ રહે જોડે?
Forum.
Yes, yes.
Hello. Please mute Mayur bhai. He is talking on the phone and he's not in this seminar.
બીજું કરકે
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So yeah, you're right. Windows briefcase છે ને એ 95 Windows 95 જ્યારે આવ્યું ત્યારે they had implemented this concept of briefcase, which could back up, so it could keep the data in sync on various devices. But going forward, they have discontinued that concept because there were too many problems with that concept. The first thing was that hello, yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. The first thing was that તમારી એની internal algorithm હતી briefcase ની, જે algorithm એ તમારો જે data છે backup થાય છે, એ briefcase માં તમે આમાં પણ file change કરો અથવા આમાં file change કરો તો એ એને check કરી અને તમને બે બાજુ sync કરી દેશે data. પણ એમાં કેવું થતું હતું કે જો એક પણ જગ્યાએ એ link internal algorithm માં break થઈ તો તમારી briefcase આખી useless થઈ જતી. એટલે અત્યારે that kind of system is not preferred because તમારો data તો safe રહેવો જ જોઈએ. જો તમારી briefcase જ inaccessible થઈ જાય તો the whole backup is useless. So Windows realized that problem and they have discontinued the usage of briefcase.
Okay. Got your point. Nilesh bhai, got your point.
અત્યારે જેમ કે બેકઅપ છે ને તો કેવું હોવું જોઈએ કે તમારો બેકઅપ નો જે ડેટા છે ને એ રો ફોર્મેટમાં વિધાઉટ ધ પ્રોગ્રામ પણ એક્સેસિબલ હોવો જોઈએ. જે પ્રોગ્રામથી તમે એને બેકઅપ કર્યો છે એ પ્રોગ્રામ બેઝડ જ જો તમે એ ડેટાને એક્સેસ કરી શકો તો there is a little difficulty. It is better that you have it in a format such that it is accessible without the use of that particular program. Because if that program develops some bug, then you will be in a very difficult situation. So it is preferred that raw backups are actually preferred unless you are on a very robust platform and it is an extra backup. Yeah.
Okay, got it, Nilesh bhai.
Welcome.
Nilesh bhai.
પરેશભાઈ બોલું છું.